Hey guys, I'm Dwarfs. Today I'm back with some hot Empire action. The Chaos Dwarfs recently had some cost reductions on their actual Chaos Dwarf melee infantry, which means great swords are going to be even better of a pick in this particular matchup. Great swords are pretty good specialists against armored kind of mid to low tier infantry. Even higher tier infantry they can sometimes trade effectively with, but we're already missing some of the fun here as these Black Lions open up on these Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses. This one's from Anti-Kaiju. He's coming in hot with Marcus Wolfheart, Amethyst Wizard with Spirit Leech and Soul Blight for some damage and debuffs. Of course, the Black Lions, we've also got some Empire Knights here, plenty of Spearmen with shields, 2 Great Swords, each has a couple of chevrons, it looks like 2 and 3. We've got some Spearmen more here, front line of Swordsmen, Silver Bullets, and some regular handgunners as well. Empire Knights over on this far side. And for the Chaos Dwarfs, Sorcerer Prophet of Death. Very interesting choice, I have to say. Skullcracker, Chariot, Single Entity, Terror, Mechanical Monster, of course. I've also got Laborers here, some Chaos Dwarf Warriors, Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, Single Infernal Guard, or it looks like actually a couple Infernal Guard. And then, yeah, some Hobgoblin Archers as well. 3 Infernal Guard Fireglaves, that's right. So some pretty serious firepower. Empire has plenty of capacity to shoot back. Will have to utilize this Black Lions unit to good effect. Marcus, though, will be pretty good for a snipe here. Comes in with the net. Black Lions are going to unload their Hellblasters. Yeah, some of the overshots actually landing in the Dwarf blunderbusses there. Some of the misses, so doing some nice kind of double damage, essentially. Marcus Wolfheart's bow also could contribute. I don't know. I think he might be an auto fire on something else. Yeah, then Silver Bullets, of course. But meanwhile, this Skullcracker just runs straight through the Empire's front line and is going to just start to massacre units in the back line and cause an immense amount of disruption. These are very strong single entity chariots. So yeah, serious damage coming in already. Meanwhile, Empire Knights already disrupting the Dwarfs backline. Chaos Dwarfs getting charged. Infernal Guard will defend themselves just fine in this situation, but still they get interrupted from shooting, so they can't return fire on the Empire's armored units. The Great Swords are then able to advance a little bit through the side there without getting hit by ranged fire too much in the backline, though, getting disrupted heavily, and the Terror also kicking in from the Skullcracker as those handgunners run to the hills. But yeah, the snipe on the Sorcerer Prophet's definitely going to be very advantageous for the Empire. Silver Bullets also surprisingly not really having line of sight issues here. Looks like they have a very slight slope that allows them to fire up and over to the Infernal Guard there, so able to get some nice damage in at long range. Empire Knights also moving up towards the front, as do Great Swords here. These Great Swords also moving to engage. So gotta get those Great Swords active against some of this armored infantry. If they can close the distance against these blunderbusses and the Fireglaves, they'll trade very cost effectively, you know, just based purely on their melee stats. Even with that 42 melee defense, the Fireglaves will still have a pretty tough time, especially considering how much cheaper the Great Swords are. But anyway, yeah. Oh, did I miss it? Oh no, yeah, the Silver Bullets just got murdered. The Skullcracker, you can see the trail here. Unfortunately, did not have the camera on there, but the Skullcracker just ran sideways through the unit and pretty much killed the entire unit all in one go. Now it's going to move into the dark woods here to play bumper cars with Black Lions. And I think this thing actually does have an anti-infantry bonus, but still heavy AP with decent melee attack means it actually can fight in bumper cars just fine there. That being said, Empire units in the front line closing. Great Swords getting on these Infernal Guards. Even with their close range lasguns and their bayonets. Not going to be a match for the Great Swords. It's trading super cost effectively here. Getting shot in the side a little bit there. But Death Sorcerer and some Spirit Leech will send those Hobgoblins packing. Great Swords here. Again, not quite engaged yet. Still trying to help out the Black Lions. And obviously not an anti-large unit, but still with decent AP. The Chaos Choo-Choo Train here doesn't have particularly good melee defense, only 27, so the Great Swords can get some damage in. Definitely going to take some damage in the process, but yeah, especially with this thing kind of being stuck here, not moving. Looks like it's having a little bit of a hard time accelerating, so can actually get some damage in. Soul Blight also kicking in here. lowering the armor of these units. Not really a lot to punish the damage there, but yeah, taking the damage on the spears from those Chaos Dwarf guns, quite advantageous. Yeah, greatswords were able to just mop those fireglaives no problem and can now move on, start to roll up some of these other units. Chaos Dwarfs definitely fighting back hard, though. Black Lions have taken very serious damage. Silver Bullets coming back from rout, with the Skullcracker now occupied in the front line, even getting netted by Marcus. Shot up a little bit there. Swordsmen were able to do, again, some damage. These mechanical spikes and whirring blades can only do so much. Very cool little steam burst there also. And the Skullcracker looks like might try and go straight after Marcus himself, but of course he's got these great swords nearby. Nope, let's see. Damage as it runs through the side of the great swords, not quite as impressive as it was with the silver bullets. It does kind of get stopped up by the mass of the great swords there. They're able to turn around and actually start fighting here, so a little bit of damage getting in. Those fire glaives, though, opening up from a distance, are able to do some pretty solid damage, and great swords start to lose HP and leadership fairly quickly, but the goblin laborers will interrupt the line of sight to a certain degree, although not completely. That said, the great swords have been able to hold it down while Marcus gets shooting in. Skullcracker gets a spirit leech there as well. Should be able to get finished off. These great swords now been cutting it up to 62 kills. Not too much in terms of actual damage value yet. This other one I would expect to probably have quite a bit more. Yeah, decent stuff. Quite well. Yeah, considering how cheap they are with the chevrons, that's probably just paid for themselves. So nice to see that. And greatswords are not the best mid-tier infantry by any means, but certainly for an anti-armor kind of infantry specialist, or matchups where you need to fight enemy armored infantry, especially mid-tier armored defensive infantry like Dwarf Warriors or Chaos Warriors, greatswords are a really nice kind of specialist tool, and Empire's roster is largely composed of specialist tools. I mean, you have a few generalist units that are good in most situations, but a lot of specialized tools. Greatswords are certainly one of them. Not good in all matchups, but this is definitely one where I would probably continue taking them, at least for the time being. We'll see kind of how the meta stabilizes. I don't know that either of these builds are particularly meta, but the Black Lions in particular can be quite devastating to the Chaos Dwarfs, given their lack of kind of traditional counter battery fire. We do have, of course, artillery that could try and counter-snipe the Black Lions probably fairly effectively, but still, they're pretty expensive to take and could also be counteracted by the Empire's own traditional artillery, so not particularly commonly seen in this matchup, like the Death Shrieker rocket, for example, but it's definitely an interesting one. These Infernal Guards are going to make their final stand here. And the Amethyst Wizard getting back up in the sky. Plenty of great swords. Silver Bullets also standing firm. And the Chaos Dwarf player is going to throw in the towel. No surprises there, but still. Very well played to both players. And Boojalicious, yeah, managed to get some good value on his great swords. Black Lions as well. Just racking up over 200 kills. 14,000 damage dealt. 2,423 damage value. Really like to pick it in this matchup in particular. I guess you could be... Probably the most vulnerable would be to, like, maybe Bull Centaurs, supported by some light cavalry. If they could potentially get to it by shutting down your own mobility, it would be pretty dangerous, but at the same time, he's got some potential ability to respond here. The nets is definitely a nice ability for control, and then that combined with these high burst range units, like the Silver Bullets and the Black Lions, definitely gives you a lot of flexibility. Of course, Empire State Troops are here, mostly just to die in droves, which they largely do. But on the Chaos Dwarfs side, yeah, the Infernal Guard, Fireglaves, not quite the value you would have wanted, I have to say. I'm quite impressed by the Skullcracker, though. 2,900 damage value, 21,000 damage dealt overall, 206 kills. Yeah, these guys definitely quite strong. Still, in this particular patch, really just puts most other War Machine type units to shame. So, you know, hopefully, like the Steam Tank and the Doom Wheel, one day can be as good as the Skullcracker is. Probably not. We'll see. Yeah, the rest of the build, though, pretty much struggles. Nothing really ends up paying for itself. Even the lower cost Chaos Dwarf Warriors still have a hard time finding themselves cost effective here. So it is what it is, but hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.